What is going on, adventurers, travelers, and tourists alike? Welcome to Point Noir, home of the Point Noir podcast. I'm your host, Jerry III, aka Kimono Jack, and I'm so glad you're here with us for our 23rd session of the Point Noir podcast. Now, because it's the number 23, I'm going to personally call this our Like Mike episode to pay homage to the GOAT of the 90s, some debate on that, but the GOAT, Michael Jordan out there with the 90s Bulls. So that's what's going on there. But listen, in keeping with this basketball theme, we have an all-star guest, as always, coming up on the show. And if you too want to be somewhat of a globetrotter, you know what I'm saying, puns intended, I want to make sure you guys know that we sponsor a man of color to get his passport every single month here at the show. So if you stick around until the end or just fast forward, I don't care. I just want you to participate. I'm going to give you all the details on how you can participate or share the information with someone who wants to travel. So without further delay, stay tuned for today's special guest. Joining us today at The Point as our special guest is Mr. Ronnie Dunston. Make sure you check him out on Instagram at Ronnie Dunston. And among other things, he is a travel hacker extraordinaire and co-founder of the travel influencer account Road to 100 Countries that he shares with his wife, Dr. Sheba. And recently, just this year, they traveled to 100 countries together as a couple, and it's amazing. Not only have they had amazing experiences throughout the world that Ronnie shares with us here today on the show, but he's pulled so many life lessons, and travel has really grown him as a man and as an individual. But he's interested in teaching others how to do the same, primarily using the credit card game to book free airfare and definitely free hotel stay. So I love the mission. I love his energy. Had a great time sitting down with him virtually, of course, for now, to talk about everything he's got going on. And I think you guys are really going to get a lot of gems and a lot of key takeaways from this interview. So find a comfy, cozy place to relax, grab a refreshing beverage of choice, maybe two. This is a long one, but you guys are going to dig it. I'll see you on the other side. What is going on, Ronnie? Thanks for joining us today at The Point. How are you feeling today, fam?
I can't complain, other than it being Monday. So,
oh man, Monday
is not bad.
Monday still applies for travelers such as yourself?
Yeah, I still work a 9-to-5 job, or it's 7-to-3 in this case. But yeah.
Okay. Part. I wouldn't have guessed. We're definitely going to introduce your story some, but I thought you were full-time traveling, just picking a coast and connecting Wi-Fi at a Starbucks.
Yeah, not at all. My wife and I were both full-time employees. We just managed to hit 100 countries.
Wow.
Full-time jobs. But
Wow. So let's dive into it, man. I'm so glad we had the time to talk. But you just mentioned you and your wife, you guys are the founders of the awesome Instagram account, Road to 100 Countries. So let's start it off. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the travel game, and maybe, why you started building the page.
Yeah. So, starting off. So my wife and I originally, back in, we met like in 2007, but in 2011, I started this thing called Pay Cheap Rates Travel Club, kind of just trying to get my people, just people who look like me, to travel more. Because when we were in Aruba, I just realized like we were literally the only black people on the plane. So, and we're going to Aruba here. You know what I mean? This was back in, I forgot when, I want to say, 2011 was when we went to Aruba. So while we were out there, we came up with this whole Pay Cheap Rates Travel Club. It lasted for about 5 years. I sold the company because service was just not for me, like booking things for people, that wasn't my thing. And I realized that teaching people how to do the things that we were doing was really my thing. I was actually a dean of students as well as a professor in the College of Business and Technology. So that was always my thing, just to be able to teach people and show people things. So we were traveling, I want to say our first international location was like Canada. We drove to Canada. Either that or Bahamas, but we were doing a lot of the Caribbean, and I would say 5 years ago in 2013, we had hit 13 countries together, and I was just like, you know what? We've been to like Bahamas like 2 or 3 times. We had that time. We've been to Mexico probably 2 or 3 as well. And I was like, you know what? We should just stop repeating countries. And when we both decided to let's not repeat countries, my wife was like, well, there's recognized by the UN, there's 195 countries. And I just came up with this like, hey, we should just see half of them. We just see 100. Let's do 0 to 100 real quick, right? So we said, let's do 100 countries. We, at the time, I think I may have said, let's do it before 2020. I think we said 2020 at the time. And then it manifested until let's do it before my 40th birthday, which on my 40th birthday, we hit our 100 country, which was Mauritius back in September 11th was my birthday of this year. So,
wow. Well, first of all, congratulations on that. I remember I commented on the post because Mauritius is one of those places that a lot of Americans, U.S. citizens never make it to. And I was checking out your account, getting to learn a little bit about you. And I was like, oh, he knows about the island out there. That's what's up, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to lie, like even just getting into travel itself and just looking at the map, we started researching more and more countries. Like if you would have asked me this 6 years ago, I would have been like, Mauritius, where's that? You know what I mean? Like, right. But now, you know what I mean? Seychelles, Mauritius, we've been to Vanuatu. You know, even when I say Vanuatu, people are like, well, where's that at? So New Caledonia, you know, just the South Pacific alone, I love. And Mauritius was one of those, you know, one, it's an African, a lot of people don't know, it's, you know, even though it's an island, it's a part of Africa. They consider it a part of Africa, but the indigenous people, it's an actual mix of like Indians, Africans, and then Asian. Indian is Asia, but Chinese more so. So technically India is Asia, but those three mixtures, which was kind of weird even when we got there, but just learning more about Mauritius was great. But we just said, hey, let's do 100 countries, see if we can do it. With full-time employees, we worked the points and mile system as well as, we started to learn about the points and mile system 5 years ago, which it took me probably those first 2 years of traveling and figuring it out. And then I'm from Jersey, my wife's from New York. I just have a hustle mentality. So I looked up it was called the Points Guy. And I was reading about what he was talking about, but he was always giving like the point value. He wasn't really giving you the hustle aspect of it. So I was like, you know what? And he didn't look like me. You know what I mean? Right. So for me, I'm like, let me see how I can take this to the next level. And we literally, in the last 3 years, we haven't paid for a hotel. So it took me 2 years to really master the system. And then now I can, to the point that I didn't have me to teach me then, but I can teach somebody now and they can hit the ground running. So that's one of the things that it started off as a personal goal, road to 100 countries. And it wasn't until maybe about 2 years ago that I was like, you know what, we should just make this like a travel movement. Because we were so close, and which is another reason why our website took so long to launch, because I'm like going backward 80 countries trying to go through pictures and videos to make a website. You know, I didn't start from the beginning like, hey, follow our journey. It was more like, hey, here's our journey. We made it. You know what I mean? To 100 countries. So, you know, we turned it into a movement. We have like merchandise now, T-shirts and things like that. We're going to be, selling to people and give people the opportunity to just join the movement and show them how they can do it. One of the things we're going to come up with is we call it the Tricks to Travel system. And that's teaching people step by step how we travel to 100 countries, working full time. And I like to say essentially for free, because we probably paid for about 40% of our airfare. And of course, in the last 3 years, actually, I might as well say 4, because 2019 is booked. We haven't paid for a hotel or resort yet.
Wow. And I love your focus on teaching and kind of giving a hand to everybody else. And that's part of the reason why this show exists. You're creating a resource that didn't exist when you started. This show is collecting stories that didn't exist as a resource when I started my adventuring. And that's incredible, man. Congratulations again to 100 countries. So you guys did those additional, 82 countries, 85 countries in 4 years?
87 in 5 years. So in 5 years total, because we were at 13. We were at 13 by 2013. So, so 2013 on. So it's essentially, and people's like, oh, it took you 100. I was like, well, technically we've been to 13. So, together and everything. And the other thing, one of the key things about us, so technically my wife has been to 101 countries. Right. So I made this joke. We were in Ireland. I was like, she was like, well, I've already, because Ireland was our 99. So in our video, I was like, we've been to 100 countries. She's like, well, technically I've been to 101. I was like, I didn't ask you that. I said we. Right. Together. So my wife, she actually's been to Sierra Leone. She went there.
Okay.
She actually went there for work. So when she went to Sierra Leone for work, she works for the CDC. And when she was out there, I wasn't able to visit her at the time. It was during the Ebola situation. She's a research scientist. My wife's a research scientist, so she does have her doctorate in that, but she also does like health and fitness. So she technically Ireland, was her 100th country, but together we traveled to. There was like countries that I had been to. I think maybe two without her before, and we actually repeated those countries so that we can do it together. So the whole road to 100 countries, it's not even just me, it's us. You know what I mean? Like we both did it together. So that was one of the things. It's just to show people of color, like, look, you have a couple here that's, I'm not that old, I'm 40, but you know what I'm saying? We're not too old. My wife's 35, so she's 5 years younger than me, but we're not too old. We're black. We have full-time jobs, and just showing that black love, and we can see the world. We too can. You just like us, you can see the world as well, and that's what we were trying to just show people that people of color do travel. Young people of color, shall I say, do travel.
No, yeah, definitely young, and the positivity shows on the page, the way you guys give love, the way people support you. So let's back up a second. Were you always a traveler? Did you grow up traveling? You're from Jersey. I'm from outside of Philly. I'm from Media. So shout out to the East Coast, Beast Coast, because
I lived in Philly. I actually would live in Wyncote area, and that's actually where I was a dean. I was a dean of students at DeVry University in Philadelphia for Washington campus. So I know I was there for 12 years. So Philadelphia all day. I know. I grew up a Army brat. So my dad was military. He was Army 22 years, and the first place technically I flew internationally was Germany. We lived in Germany twice, Wurzburg and Frankfurt. So that kind of just being able to get on a plane was one thing I was doing. But to be honest with you, to the level of travel that I'm at now, I'd have to give it kudos to my wife. So I was all about like, let's go to Bahamas, Mexico, these little quick spots, the Caribbean. I was into the beach travel as well. My wife was more into the cultural experience. And I was all about, and I like to get into, I'm the one that's ATV and I'll do the bungee jump. I'm an extremist. I like to do extreme sports as well. I was an athlete as well in school, high school and college. So for me, it's all about the sport of it. So my wife just expanded my knowledge. She's like, we could do both and we could go here. We started going to Europe, Africa, South America. We started just venturing out, and I just realized, I got into those long flights. Once we did that 30-hour flight to New Zealand, everything was possible from there. We were like, oh, Thailand is like 12 hours. I'm like, oh, that's nothing. It's like 3 movies. That's how I equate things. So for me, now I tell people, I'm like, unless I'm flying further than New Zealand, which you can't, from our coast. So at that point, it is what it is. Nothing is. Every sky's the limit for us at this point. We're always, where can we go? What can we knock off on the map? I don't think we'll make it to 100. A lot of people are like, well, why didn't you just say you're going to go to 195? I'm like, well, we work for the government. One, I'm probably not going to North Korea anytime soon.
Off rip.
You know what I mean? Exactly. So there's certain places. Next thing is, a lot of people are like, oh, so and so they go to all the countries. I'm like, and the ones so far I've seen, I did meet someone now of color. She's gone to all 195. But even in her story, and talking to her directly, she said to me like, hey, it was a bit much. You know what I mean? But sometimes you'll see, people that don't look like me, the Caucasian persuasion, and they're traveling without a hitch. So to me, if I could do it, and if we can, don't get me wrong, we're going to continue to travel. I always joke with my wife, like we'll probably hit like 180. But if there's a way and there's a means for us to hit all 195, at least, recognized by the UN, we will. We will hit all, 195. But that wasn't, we wanted a realistic goal. At least we thought 100 was realistic. A lot of people didn't think it was, and clearly we did it. So that was the thing. I didn't want to set a goal that I wasn't. I'm one of those, I'm a realist. If I'm going to set a goal, I'm going to attain that goal. So I'm definitely going to reach. I'm not, make short-term goals and make it long-term. So it was like, oh, let's do 100, but let's hit 25 first. And it was 50. You know what I mean? And we went from there. But once we realized we could do it, we went all in.
Right. And if someone's asking me why not do 196 and you haven't been to 120, like, I don't want to hear it. Like, you know what I mean? Most people can't even see 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a huge, like, what the hell are you talking about?
I hear people say that all the time. And it's funny because I say 196 too, but people say Taiwan. And that's another thing too. So ironically, we've been probably to a little more, but it depends on how you look at it. So like, it's funny that you say 196, right? And I said that too. But then some people like, well, because see, first of all, in the 196, some people include Taiwan as a country. Some people say it's the Republic of China. Then you have the Holy See, which is Vatican City, which is a whole other.
Right.
Call that a country. You know, you don't see them calling something small in Africa a country, but whatever. They want to call Vatican City, that I just say is a part of Italy, but they say it's a part of the country. I've been there twice. Okay, whatever. So we add that on there. So depending on how people look, but in reality, if you don't go by the UN, it's over 200 countries. You know, if you actually don't go by, you know what I mean? So, because what defines a country? Is it they have their own currency? Do they, you know what I mean? Do they have their own currency? They have a flag. I mean, if that's the case, shoot, you could say Puerto Rico is a country. So depends on how you look at it. But we're definitely trying to see as much of the world as possible.
Right, 100%. Yeah, and shout out to you guys for, being the trailblazers. I love how there's so much room in the travel niche, and especially this relatively recent Black travel movement. I'm more of a slow traveler. I'm an adventurer. I might head out, post up for a couple years, and then move on. But, I love that there are people who have momentum and are, getting passport stamp after passport stamp and just really blazing the trail, because I think ultimately moves like this, we've never traveled like this before. Outside of growing up in the military or having that sort of influence, where else have, a generation of young Black people just been freely traveling the world without any obligations like that?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And I mean, you know what? I think sometimes is the unknown though. Because we've traveled, like when we went to Egypt, people are like, you went to Egypt? Like, is it safe? People,
what?
They don't know. Yeah, it's sometimes that was, it can be a deterrent to people. And, you see people that haven't even been out their own city, let alone their state at that. So, and, as far as U.S. People is concerned, is a lot of people haven't even been out their own state. So we're trying to just show people like, yes, you can go there too. I've had people, especially our Facebook group, there's a lot of people now that are like traveling to destinations they've seen us travel to or in that area because they've seen us travel, and I love it. I just love, and I'm inspired. I tell people all the time, like if I haven't been to Iran, we'll say first. I've had people been to Iran, like, oh, it's very nice, blah blah blah, it's beautiful. I'm not going to shut down from that. If you would have asked me this back in the Bush era, maybe I wasn't going to Iran. But now, yeah, right. Definitely. I see other people, especially people who look like me, that've been to Iran, absolutely is on the list. I'm not going to go to conflict situations for me, we want to start a family. But if it's safe and I see people traveling and it's not too shaky, of course we're going to try it. Okay? So we are going to go anywhere that we feel, we deem it safe, and safe not by people's opinion, not purely by people's opinion. I mean, we look at things like travel.state.gov, so we go on, the websites and things of that nature just to see what's going on in the world before we pick a location, make sure shots and things of that nature is up depending on where we're going. But for the most part, we don't shun away from a location unless it's just something that we just can't make it to, or it's maybe the government is telling us we can't go because we do work for the government, so it depends on the location. But again, this year may not be able to go, and next year we could. We're going to do it. That's like Cuba. Cuba was something that we couldn't go to at one point. As soon as it opened up, we went. We took actually a group there. We took a group of about 20 people, 20 in total. We went to Cuba last year, I think. It was 2017 last year. Mm-hmm. So we try to do an annual group trip with people too. We're not into the group things. Like I'm not saying into the group things, but we're not into booking group trips for people. So what we try to do is we try to do like one group trip a year, an annual trip. We didn't do one this year, and I realized people started flaking out. And at the time when we were doing our group trips, because we're still on that, we were on the whole, we're not repeating countries. So all our group trips were to countries that we've never been to. So St. Kitts was supposed to be this year. We ended up going. We had a fabulous time. St. Kitts is dope. The people there was great to us. We did a whole review of one of the Marriott there as well. But it was supposed to be a group trip, but people, it was a little more expensive trip because it's not it's not Mexico prices. You know what I mean? So it's not that cheaper location. So people were like, oh, who haven't traveled like that, they weren't really too keen on the price. But we will bring the group trips back in 2020. And then the reason why I said 2020 because 2019 is booked up. We're also trying to start a family, so we'll wait till about 2020 to do a group trip.
Okay, y'all got priorities and plans. So let's dive in a little bit more in the spirit of teaching. How have you guys been able to balance having full-time jobs and getting all of this done? Because a lot of times you hear stories where it feels like the encouragement is quit your corporate job, and I've been there, I've done it a couple times. Quit your job, go travel. But that's not the move for everybody. So how have you guys been able to maintain that balance and still be gainfully employed?
That was absolutely not the move for us.
Right.
So people who know me directly, like, because I'm in a fraternity, she's in sorority. People who know us directly, they know that even though whether we good money or not, because people, I've seen comments like, yeah, rich, I'm frugal, I'm not paying for nothing. So, but I'm also, so I like to call it, I always make this joke that I'm broke balling.
Right. Balling on a budget.
Yeah, balling on a budget. But I like to have luxury. Like we've been diamond for the last 5 years status with Hilton. So, there's a whole bunch of different perks that come in, but I'm also not paying for stuff. I'm even getting things where they're giving me half of my points back. And that's one of the things we're going to teach people how to do. Like people want to be bloggers. And I'm like, hey, you can be a blogger. And if you're a blogger, that's great. But if you want to be a blogger, but you don't have the time, yet you want that, free stay and things like that, and get people to sponsor you, I can teach you how to do that and not even be a blogger. Because blogging takes a lot. Even with our website, we're not going to be. It's a lot.
A hell of a lot.
Yeah, to be a blogger, and I don't knock anybody because I have people I see they're successful at it. That's what they love to do. But I also know people who love to do it. I'll say love because now they're in a point like you know what I mean? It's like I do it because it's second nature. But man, I don't know.
It's a grind, and it's not for everybody.
Exactly, and it's not. And for me, I knew that wasn't for us. So we're trying to create a space where people can network. We're creating a network rather than more so like a blog. But anyhow, so one of the things that we've done is this. So my wife, she will do things like, I'll say me because she has it a little easier than I do. So I will work 10-hour days. So actually, I'll give you a prime example because we're literally leaving on Thursday, Wednesday night. So we're flying to Dominica. Dominica is going to be our number 101 for us, right?
Okay.
And we're literally leaving this week. So this is what we did. Monday's a federal holiday. I cannot tell you which holiday is that. What month is this? This is November. So it's Veteran. Yeah, it's Veteran Day. I actually should know that, my father. So Veterans Day is Monday, right? So this is what we're doing. Right. Because Dominica is not far, and when there's a closer location, with sometimes Europe and usually the Caribbean. So anything in Africa or further South Pacific, we're doing a week or more. But when it's Cuba or St. Kitts or Dominica now, we can do a 5-day trip. And we make sure our days are not spent trying to figure out what we're doing. We make sure our days are not wasted on travel. So this is what we'll do. One of the primary things. I will work a 10-hour shift most paychecks, ours is the same way, every 2 weeks. So the one thing about us that they won't do, and most jobs won't allow you to do, they won't allow you to bank time. Let me work, 10 hours. Can I bank these 2 days and keep adding up? They won't do that. And at first I thought they were being a-holes to me, but that's just the nature of the beast. I looked into it. I'm like, okay, it wasn't because I'm black and I'm accent. You know what I mean? It was like, no, we don't do that. You know what I mean? So 10-hour days, right? So this is what I've done this week. So in this pay period, my pay period is the 1st to the 15th and the 16th to the 30th, 31st, right? So this is a new pay period for me. I work 10 hours today, I work 10 hours tomorrow, and I'll work 10 hours on Wednesday, right? We will find a night flight or overnight flight on Wednesday to get us there early Thursday morning. So that's what we're doing. We get there early Thursday morning. Now, prior to our arrival, we will email the hotel or the resort in this case and let them know, look, this is all the kind of things we want to do. Have it set up before we even get there. It gives us the opportunity to really see the country, and we're not wasting the whole day trying to figure out what we're doing.
Right.
We hit the ground on Thursday when we land. They pick us up. We got always, preferential treatment. When you email them beforehand, you got to build that rapport. And we teach people how to do that as well. We have a little template where we'll show people. So we build that rapport. They're picking us up, have signage, all this. We'll get to the hotel, eat breakfast, and then we'll go on. We'll do like a cultural tour, nothing like hiking or crazy like I like to do in the first day because we flew in. And we'll do a cultural tour. We'll see the city and things of that nature. See the resort. We usually do a review of the resort as well. And then Friday morning, our morning's going to be planned. Now, what I have is we're going to be there all day Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's 4 full days of activities to see. And Dominica's not that big. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be able to immerse myself in the culture and I'm going to know everything about Dominica, but I'm going to see Dominica in 4 days. And I know some people
for sure.
Yeah, people are like, oh, if you're not there for at least a week, you don't understand the country. Bruh, if you're not here for over a year, you're not even going to understand the United States. So don't give me that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You're not, unless you live there. And even when you live there, you can live in a place and go to work at home every day. And you don't know the place. You know what I mean? So I tell people like, hey, whatever. We say as long as you're there we always say a country didn't count for us anyhow if we weren't there for a full day or more. So sometimes, the cruises and have a full itinerary because we do one cruise a year. We didn't try to really do cruises to hit countries that way. I know some people do. Plus, you'll repeat countries on cruises a lot. So we actually started flying out the places to do cruises. But anyhow, back to what I'm saying. So that's 4 full days. We'll come back Monday night. Now, my wife, she won't go to work on Tuesday. I'll go to work on Tuesday. We'll come home on a Monday night, and I'll go to work on Tuesday, doing a 10-hour day Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday to complete my hours. I still hit my hours. And get this, I never use 1 day of PTO. Because when you work 10-hour days in a 2-week time, 10-hour days in 1 week gives you 1 day free, 1 day off. It's like having a Friday off.
Right.
So they'll let me bank them in a 2-week period. So I'll do 10 hours straight for, we'll say, 8 work days, and then I get those 2 days off. So I combine them in this week. I'll take Thursday and Friday off, but I'm not really taking it off. I work the hours already.
Right.
So Thursday and Friday, exactly. Thursday and Friday are free days. Saturday and Sunday, I'm fortunate enough that we don't work on weekends. I know some people are like, well, I work on weekends. I know other people do. So it depends on your situation. Right. I've been doing this so long, I know the questions. That's gonna, well, I work on weekends. Like, okay, I understand. We got to work it, modify it a little bit, but it's possible. So, and then for me, I'm luckily that I work at a job that gives us federal holidays off. I know that all jobs don't give Veterans Day off, so I have to say that too because I know people, So I say, it may not be for you. You might have to do like a Memorial Day where more jobs do give you Memorial Day or Christmas, or whatever the case may be.
Or get another job.
Yeah, or that. But I can't tell people to get another job.
I can. I sure can, Ronnie. Get another damn job.
Now I will say to someone, if you're not happy in your job. And you're not, if you're not happy in your job and it's one of those, like, you're dreading going to work every day, yeah, you might want to look into getting another job. I love my job. It's cool, I did used to work from home, but now I go in every day for the last 2 years. And, it's a little bit annoying, but now I take a train, so it's cool. But I do enjoy my job, and they're flexible, they understand, and they understand that I like to travel. They jokingly now, like, well, you hit 100, you're going to slow down now? No, because I want you to get accustomed to me traveling. So every federal holiday, it's funny because my wife, like, we may not have something planned, and I'm like, we gotta go somewhere, right? I just can't be here, right? Because I can't go to work, and they're like, wait, you're here? It's federal holiday? I don't even want them to get used to that.
You got a reputation.
Exactly, I got a reputation to hold. So we try to go every federal holiday, and then we have Monday off. So we're Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all 5 days, right? Free.
Right.
Well, we have 65 days. So those 5 days, no PTO was used. Yeah. I came back and I went to work on Tuesday. Now, some people, they may not go. My wife, she has her days here and there. Hers is a little different because she only works 3 days a week. But she works 3 in the office, 1 telework, and she has a Friday off. So hers is a little different. She doesn't have to do well, she technically is doing those extra hours like me. But we're kind of doing the same thing. It's just I go every day. So they won't let me.
Right.
It's a love-hate relationship in the aspect that they don't want me to do this. I can't do 10-hour days every week and just have every Friday off because I'd rather do that. But they understand my travel. Like, they understand that I love to travel, and they understand that I'm going to travel usually during the federal holiday for the most part, other than our anniversary. So they know every April, our anniversary, Ronnie's not going to be here. They know on my birthday, 9/11, Ronnie's not going to be here. And then all federal holidays. We have a relationship. They understand that. They're not asking me to do things. They're not going to say, hey, 9/11, you going to be here? They may joke and say it. They already know I'm not going to be here. Don't ask me that question. My birthday is a federal holiday. It's a holiday for me. You know what I mean? So those things, they know that, holidays coming up. We need to get Ronnie. We're going to have him, or, I do training. I'm a training specialist. We have him doing some things. Let's get it all done before the holiday. Not to mention, the federal government, a lot of people aren't around during the holidays anyhow. So I'm kind of traveling during the time people aren't around, whether they're traveling or just taking days off. I'm still in the same time frame. So there's no hiccup in our position. And that's how we were able to do it. There's no hiccup. There's no change. It worked that way.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think ultimately it comes down to being creative with your work situation. And that's another thing that I come from the corporate world for almost all of my working career. And there's not a lot of black guidance from people that look like me in terms of saying, hey, things are flexible. A lot of times the impression that we get from some of the others, our elders, our parents, is like, hey, you should be grateful you have a job at all, much less, try to get flexible and funky with the work days so that you can do other things you're interested in. So I think that's super valuable that you guys share that and do it, because if you're worried about, hey, I work on weekends, well, get creative and make your dreams happen.
Travel during the week. Shoot, it's cheaper. You fly on a Wednesday. You work on a weekend. All right, well, you know what? Be gone Monday through Friday. Come back and go to work on Saturday and Sunday if you needed to. But
exactly, you catch all the happy hours. It's great.
All the cheap stuff. But for me, and one of the things I do tell people is that so when it comes to a job, issue here. So when it comes to your position and just a job, I always tell people, I said, listen, the one thing that jobs, they will work you to death. They don't care if you take your PTO. They give it to you, but they don't actually care if you go. If you quit your job will be posted the next day. So I have no loyalty. So I always tell people I have 0 PTO hours. Now I have people that they allow us sometimes to go negative. So the only one thing, my supervisor told me, like, hey, let's not go into negative. So I'm like, hey, I'll try my best. Right. But you should have told me I had that option to go into negative. So we could do like 20 or something hours negative, but I don't. So and I respect them. They don't want me because they don't want me red flag. I stay out of the negative, but I be creative. So I always tell people one of the things is to change your travel mindset. And that's our little niche thing that we're telling people. Change your travel mindset. First of all, everything starts with, everything is, knowledge is the key to success. And the way your mindset is, whether it's travel, whether it's being an entrepreneur, whether it's knowing or understanding different cultures, you have to change your mindset. You can come in and, you can't always assume one thing about a culture or something of that nature until you actually get there, you witness it, you understand it, you live it, you change your mindset. So the thing for us is change your travel mindset.
100%. So, dude, those are some gems right there. And one thing I have to ask you about, traveling in a relationship as a couple. What have you learned about that? What could you share for those of us out here? Because I've said this on many a show. Like, I see people traveling with their significant others, and I'm just like,
it must be nice traveling with a significant other. So this is what I will tell.
Well, no, it's just because I can't do it. I'm not that. Maybe I'm mature enough, but I'm just like, yo, I need to move at my pace. You know what I'm saying? Get with the program and get off the bus, man. Because I'll see what I can.
Here's the thing, ironically. So number one, women actually love it, and when you look at people of color, the ones that's actually out there doing it, which is, I love that what you're doing, black men, because it's not enough of us out there traveling. We're out there, but we're nowhere near the numbers of black women. So that's number one.
So can we talk about that right quick? Because I was going to ask you about this because I know you see a lot of the
Yeah.
culture, but for sure, brothers are not moving at the same number that women are. And what do you think is behind that? Now, I know we do stay places. We tend to be expats for longer. That's kind of the general consensus. In general, women are
we
more.
can be expats longer and women can travel more. And here's why. One, unfortunately, especially like for example, I'll just give an example. We went to India and my wife, if she wasn't with me, she would have been uncomfortable in certain situations because it was like even when she was covered, they're like staring. It's a different concept. And some people in some cultures, not necessarily India, but in general, some cultures don't respect women as much as, let's say in the U.S. or whatever the case may be. So it's a little harder, and I can see that for solo travel. But I know women solo travelers, and they hit the ground running. But as far as they crush it. And there's some people, and again, in certain places they're going to stay in, and certain places they're going to go. They may not stay as long as we would, but unfortunately, that's a gender, a gender bias, shall I say, that's out there. But women getting up and going in comparison to us. So number one, I'm in a fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, and I throw out a shout out for us, right? So this is the one thing about us, men. Unfortunately, when we travel, we want to travel for the women. We're traveling because we're trying to hook up. We're not doing it necessarily until we mature up. We're trying to travel for the culture. You know what I'm saying? So we're going and don't get me wrong, we kind of mixing it too, because once you start getting out there and you're seeing more and more countries, and I'll just say you're getting further than, if you're in the U.S., shall I say, and you're getting further than the Caribbean, you're starting to see more of the world. And not the Caribbean, because if you're flying from the West Coast, the Caribbean might be it for you. You know what I mean? Asia's closer to the West Coast than it is to the East Coast. Because I'm giving you an East Coast perspective. I'm from the East Coast perspective. Right. Because, again, the Caribbean for the West Coast, Hawaii to them is a backyard. Whereas for us, in the East Coast, we're like, hey, we want to go. But Japan and Asia to them is also their backyard. Whereas to us, it's not. So I am speaking on the East Coast mindset, shall I say, of a traveler. But men, that's fair. So men, the ones who do travel, they're not necessarily haven't connected with a woman yet or found a woman who probably wants to travel or do the things that they want to as well. So you have to be equally yoked. That's number one. So my wife and I, we're balanced. We're yin and yang, but we're equally yoked. We both, our salaries, we go back and forth. Like, you know what I mean? It's, I'm making a little more than her, and then she's making a little more. And we go back and forth. I'll go to the job and joke. I'm like, hey, my wife making more than me. You need to give me a raise. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we're, there's no I got the money and I'm doing what I want to do, or you got the money, you do what I want to do. We're equally yoked when it comes to that. So then my wife she's a Taurus. She's headstrong when it comes to that. So that's one part. Two, so we're balanced. So my wife, she wants to see museums and cultural things and, and be, go to the villages and be one with the people. Sometimes I'm like, I do. I want to jump off bridges. I want to, when we went to New Zealand, we did the sky jump. I like doing stuff like that. So my wife, we're balanced. Nice. Instead of we just going, the typical man, selfish, and I'm fortunate, but it's true. And I got to throw it out there. We could be selfish at times. We want to do what we want to do, and it is what we want to do. And that's not the case. So for my wife, the way we plan things, she'll plan the itinerary. And women are more, they're just nurturing more than dudes to begin with, but they're more balanced than we are to an extent. So she knows that, hey, you know what, Ronnie wants to ride the ATV. She's going to throw it on the itinerary. She's not going to create the itinerary and there's something on there that I don't want to do. You know what I mean? Or I mean, not that I'm not don't want to do, but there's something on there there's nothing on there that I want to do, shall I say. You know what I mean? She's going to keep balancing that. So she'll create the itinerary and I make the way. So I make sure the points, I always plan things out. How many points is going to take me to go here? That's how we planned out an entire 2019 year. You know what I mean? Like Namibia, we use our points, Hilton points. So we set up, everything is free. So I'll do that aspect. She does the itinerary. We come together. I'm not going to huff and puff when I see the cultural. Not that I don't. I do. I love the culture, but I wouldn't, like if we had a location at a beach day, my wife would sit on the beach all day and just relax. I'm like,
Right.
I can't do this. But
Now, man, I get itchy. I can't be sitting like
I'll
that.
just fall asleep on the beach. But you know what? My wife gets one beach day. I get one extreme day.
Hey.
We balance it. When we go to Dominica, we're going to have a beach day. Then we're going to have the hike into the waterfall day. You know what I mean? So, and she loves it and I love it. Like, it took me about 20, 30 minutes. And she'd probably tell you it took me like 40 minutes to talk my wife. My wife is afraid of heights, but she's conquering it as we go.
Okay.
You would not tell in no picture or anything that we do. She'll tell you, I'm afraid of heights. But I'm like, you jumped off a freaking building in New Zealand. So we did the sky jump. It did. It took me about 30 minutes to talk into it, but I was like, babe, one-time experience. How many times we flying to New Zealand? And she did it. The video was dope. Looked like she lost her soul in the first 3 seconds. Like she's like, now she's like, oh, it was like, where's the scream at? And then it just came out. But it was cool. It was definitely fun. My video, she's like, you look like it was a piece of cake. I was ready to do it again because it was like, oh, it wasn't adrenaline enough. Because, it's kind of guided jump anyway. It's not like it's not skydiving. But anyhow, you have to balance it. Back to the point is that men and women want to travel. And unfortunately, some guys, like we do see us traveling. But the majority of us, we don't want to go nowhere. We want to do the like, oh, let's just do all inclusive. Or they don't do anything. I know couples now, and I'm like, you know what? That's something you need to establish before you get married. You need to understand what's your travel goals. Are we going to travel, babe? We going to travel, often? We're going to try how many times a month? And of course, kids are going to change it too. And that's one thing too is funny is people would say to me, because we are looking to have kids, and that's going to be our next chapter, family travel. People think like, oh, you had a kid, it's going to slow down. I'm like, little do you know. Yeah, little do you know, my wife is all about traveling with the kids. So I was like, listen, when the woman is on board, when your woman is on board with anything, it will happen. So I tell people all the time, that's a couple relationship and it's just a marriage thing. If a man is all on board and a woman is not, there's a high probability it's not happening. but because they always say happy wife, happy life. But I'm a strong believer in it, and I'm not riding the whole coat tag. And people like, at first I was like, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, shit, happy wife, happy life. Fuck, what about us? But, however, as I've been married for 5 years now, right? Well, 5 years legally. We always say our anniversary is April, though, because we actually eloped in Vegas and got married in October. Right before our wedding was technically April 2014, but we eloped in Vegas. So technically, we've been married for 5 years. We've been together since 2007. One of the things I will, and dudes out there, happy wife, happy life. And let me actually explain it. No one tells you this shit. You know what I'm saying? If a woman is happy, she will take care of her man. She will go out her way to do things for a man. So why, rather than butting heads with your woman, if you make her happy, she's gonna essentially, not to be something, she's gonna kind of give you what you want anyway. So you're both gonna be happy. But if you make her miserable or you're always trying to take the lead, yeah, she may give in, and that eventually is going to give out. So she's going to give in to what you want to do, and it's going to fade eventually. Then you have disgruntled marriages, to divorce and so forth. So I always tell people, like, I wasn't a believer in it. I mean, I could go, that's not about this, but I can go in even more detail with that. But it's way more to it than just the same. So, and that's the same thing with a relationship. If you set ground rules and understanding beforehand, it's not all about, when you're dating and courting a woman, find out what's their goals and aspirations, dude. If you know you like to travel, you need to say that, hey, you've been out the country before? Oh, no, I don't have a passport. And actually, ignorance will come about, too, that you don't know about. I was one of them. I was, my wife was like, oh, let's go here. I'm like, all right, I'm not going there, blah, blah, blah. I had a little bit of ignorance to me when it came to travel. You know what I mean? I was woke-ish. You know what I'm saying? I was woke enough. You know what I mean? I was woke enough. My wife is woke all the way around. Right. Even now, she's like, you're like 90% woke. She might tell me I'm 80, 85.
Damn, she got you in the wokeometer.
Yeah. She's definitely got me in the wokeometer. But I was once that. And I broadened my horizons.
Yeah.
So, we kind of said, we started traveling before we got married. So getting married was just even more. and dual income is fun. So that's another thing.
Bro, dual income? Because I understand it. I'm a numbers guy. I got the personal finance down. I'm just like, shoot, if I could just get me someone to match, like, ugh.
Yeah, to match you. And my wife is definitely matching and beyond. Like she steps up her game every time. So, and she has a doctorate. You know what I mean? I'm the MBA. I have a couple masters, but I don't have my doctorate just yet. And in the field, technically the fields we're in, she's going to make that money. So I'm pushing to make that. So we're both good, and I'm a hustler.
Right.
I mean, by nature. So it's just going to happen anyhow. But yeah, you want to be equally yoked with your man or woman. If you're a woman, you want your man to be equally yoked. If you're a man, you want your woman to be equal. Or same sex. See,
right,
I'm even open my mind now. See? Like I don't,
I see you, brother. I see you.
So if you same sex, look, whatever floats your boat.
Right.
You kind of want to be equally yoked with that person. You have to have an understanding. You can find, like for you like to travel and you like to go when you go. Well, you know what? You're in your mode, you're expat, you like to go out and travel. Well, guess what? You're a woman or the wife or whomever you're going to marry or you find in your life, you're probably going to find them travel. You're not going to find the person that's still in the U.S. who only maybe, let's say they have traveled, or only did cruises or something, or only went to, unfortunately, only the Caribbean. Not in the game. No knock on that. And I'm speaking on the East Coast.
Right.
Mindset. So, but you will probably find your match out there with you.
Right.
Another blogger I've seen, and I've seen one of the people that we've featured on the Road to 100 Country. Her and her boyfriend now. I don't know if they're out there as an item, but she found her boyfriend. They were both bloggers. They were commenting on each other's post pictures, right? I'm like, and I'm actually going to feature them on our website, hopefully in January, because we're going to do our features. Like we're doing it when it launches now. We're doing a feature in January. Every 3 months we'll do a feature. But their love story is crazy.
Right.
Like they were bloggers. They were commenting on each other, right? And then they ended up being in the same location at the same time. You know how you got the Facebook and you put your location on. You know how the
location on
there. Yeah. You know how the stalker.
Drop that pen, man. Drop that pen.
She's like, wait, you're here, he's here, and boom, and they just kind of connected. And now they're doing the travel thing together. They're kind of merging it together. I joke with them all the time, like, oh, we're gonna hit 100 countries. I was like, yeah, but you didn't do it together. I was like, I was like, yeah, he did 50, you did 50, but you ain't do it together. Though. I was like, you gotta reset that. Because she's always coming, with me, because she's been to a lot. I think she's been maybe 60, 70 herself.
Okay.
And he's been to a lot. Combined, they've probably been to about 100. You know what I mean? Different countries, at least 100 probably together. But because he's been to a lot more. And again, him as an expat, it's easier for him to go to certain places. He's gone and been for a long period of time. That she hasn't been to just yet, but they met the match. I'm not to say they're gonna be married, but I'm not trying to jinx them either. But
right,
they're a couple, and they work, and now they're merging. It just so happens that they're both into the cultural scene, and when they travel, they're kind of the same type of traveler. Right. So it worked out for them, but you just that it depends on where you're gonna find your person. But I always tell people. That should be at the beginning type conversation. And that's not to say that if a person is not into traveling like you are, not to say that they can't. Some people just never got bit with the travel bug yet. You might get an addict. I'm an addict. And I tell people all day, ironically, I've never smoked or done drugs or drink. I don't drink either. My wife does. She's not drunk, but she drinks and I don't. I don't do, and she doesn't smoke either though. But I've never drank or smoked, so my drug is travel. Yeah. That's literally my eye. I'm addicted to travel. I get high off of travel. I love traveling. I love going to new countries. And we will. Now that we've hit 100, we're gonna repeat the countries. There's some countries that maybe I wasn't there long enough.
Right. Worth coming back
some
to.
Things that I love. Yeah, exactly. So worth coming back to. So people are like, well, why'd you? I was like, you know what? What I did was. I had the concept that I wanted to hit all that I can see quick, right? Not quick, too quick, because we can still go in there for a couple of days and whatnot. And then I can go back to the ones I like. Yeah, there's some that's like, I checked it off. I'm good. I don't want to go back. I don't need to go back. And then there's some that's like, oh, I want to see that again. I want to come back to there. So that's one of the reasons why we did the way we did it. It wasn't just about a check mark, but we did want to see if we could see the world.
So, which is a beautiful thing to add on to that, because these are countries, entire cultures, entire experiences. It's not toilet paper. You can go back and read. Like, there's value there. You know what I'm saying? You don't just go to one and throw it away. So I totally respect, and I'm so appreciative that you did share that angle that, hey, yeah, I had this approach to hit this number because that was an ambition of ours, but hell yeah, I'm going to go back and spend a little bit more time and have a different experience because, we have so much privilege to travel being from the States, that, man, sometimes we forget.
Yeah.
We forget how nice it is to have a blue passport.
And people, that's another thing too. I've had travelers and some of the bloggers that are guest bloggers on our page that we'll see featured talking about that, like having that U.S. passport is crazy. And the funny part is, not funny, but just ironic, I see more racism in the United States than I do abroad.
Funny how that happened.
Like, what the hell? Like it's not. And here's the thing: I'm not saying that you're not going to witness or have racism when you travel. Yes, it's out there.
Right.
And the funny part is, unfortunately, sometimes it's because what they see on TV here. They're like, what the hell? Like, so the U.S. is an influential place more than people think. It influences the world. So, the orange man that we have in office, we're a joke to some people. And then some people think like, well, they can have I'm not going to call him a dictator, but you know what I'm saying? They have somebody like that. We can have them too. Like, no, this is what not to do right now. But that's just my political stance. I know some people, whatever. But in general, though.
Hey, you can speak your people on the show, bro. This is just chilling, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But having the U.S. passport, people who are afraid, or U.S. citizens will say that are afraid to travel or think that you should actually go out there and try it. You'll be surprised.
100%. And on that note, before we round out, I wanted to know if you could, out of all your experience after hitting these countries, after doing it with your wife, which seriously, that's goals. Like, you guys are evolving the dynamic of what, black couples can look like. Because growing up, did you ever see a black couple traveling to this many countries?
Not at all. Exactly. I didn't have, and I tell people, I didn't have me. Now, I didn't have me that whether it was learning the points of mile system, whether it was seeing people who look like me travel. I'm the guinea pig. I'm the star. So, of course, somebody's going to do it better. I tell people all the time, if you're not doing it, if I show you the blueprint and you don't do it better than me, you're not doing something right. Because you should pretty much, you can mimic mine and take it and expand it more. And that's what we're looking to show people. Right. Yeah, it took me a couple, 2 years, ups and downs and bumps to figure out the system, but now I have it figured out. Now, and I've taught people now, one of my homegirls, Kim, I taught Kim how to work the system, and she's taking it to the whole nother level. I'm like, damn. Like, I'm watching her, and I'm learning a couple new things, too. It's not, and I tell people, I don't know all the answers. So our tricks to travel system that when we teach people, and the one thing, a key ingredient that I tell people are like, oh, well, you got the points guy out there and you got other people out there. Other people are saying the same thing. No, let me explain something to you. I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. I'm not knocking anybody else. What I'm going to show you is step by step of how I did it. How Sheba and my wife and I did it. You want to learn? I did it. I'm not telling you. There's people that tell you, oh, travel this or you can do this, and they're talking just finance part, but they never been there. Numbers wise, they can tell you how to do it. But did you go to the country? Have you been there before? So there's these networks out there, or not to knock them, but I'm not an MLM person. People are like, oh, you should join the MLM. Like, they come to me all the time. I'm like, well, let me ask you a question. How many countries you been to? And not to say that I'm, oh, you ain't been in this many countries. You can't tell me nothing. That's not it. Are you expanded beyond, say, the Caribbean? Are you expanded, you know what I mean? Is your knowledge base beyond that? Or are you just going to tell me something that we grab these little quick trips that everybody else does anyway? I want to know more. Right. So one of the things with our step-by-step, we're going to teach you, and we're going to have videos where it's like because I do training. This is what I do. It's going to be so novice level because we have, keep it simple, stupid is what we say. We're going to take you, we have beginner, we have intermediate, and we have advanced travel levels. If you walk through these levels, I guarantee people will be traveling at minimum one time a year for free. And I don't get me wrong. Can you hit the ground running? And like my friend Kim, absolutely. But the one thing I have learned, and just in the numbers and how people spend, you can guarantee you a free hotel every year. And a flight, depending if you work it and you network a little more, you can get the flight. You can say that my mom is my biggest guinea pig. I use her because my mom, she went to these bucket list places, and there was 4 places that I was like, how your bucket list? I've been to all your places. Australia, Italy, Alaska, and and Iceland. We took her to Iceland. We're taking her to Italy next year. Nice. Her 60th birthday, we're taking her to Australia. Actually, we're taking her to Italy and Alaska, and her 60th birthday, we're going to take her to Australia. She's going to hit a bucket list. Right now, she has the points and miles for a complete free trip to Australia. Right now, we're just holding it off, and God willing, she gets to turn 60. We're just holding it off until she turns, for her 60th birthday. Technically, she can go right now. And she didn't change her spending habits. I'm not telling people to spend beyond your means. I'm just telling you to change your mindset. I think everything now, points and miles. Let me tell you, I'll buy a pack of gum. Let me tell you, I will go to Walmart, Super Walmart, because it's charged as a grocery store, and I get 6 points on the dollar, right, as opposed to going to like a CVS and I only get 3 points on the dollar. I'm going to Walmart. Now, I may change my route a little bit, but you can get everything at Walmart. You know what I mean? I don't need to get it in CVS. I can go to Walmart. I do things like that just because I'm getting double the amount of points. I tell people, I'm like, oh, let me pay that for you. You know what I mean? Or I'm the guy that pulls out the credit card. Everybody gives me the cash. Right. Because I'm going to pay for the minute. So it's just little things that, you got to change your travel mindset. And we're going to teach people that step by step on how to do that. And that's going to launch in January.
Okay. So before we talk more about that, I wanted to know if you had one thing that you could share that men of color would get out of traveling, men who aren't traveling or maybe don't have their passport, because we sponsor passports here. What's one thing that you think all your travel experience has added to you as a black man in the States? What do you think is the biggest value add that other brothers should look forward to experiencing?
There's so many different things of value. I would say that as a black man, one thing is your self-worth is enhanced when you travel more and you learn different cultures and you appreciate life more and things. Like some people think like, whether you're from the hood or what, I was from the hood. My parents, they got into the military and things like that. But I tell people all the time, like, you don't have it bad. Some people think that they have it bad and they're depressed. Not to say that, you shouldn't be depressed or you can't be depressed. But there's people out there in the world that are having worse than us and are happy. There are people out there because they respect and love life. And sometimes when you travel, you will broaden your horizons. Like it will expand your mindset. I might have been a little woke, you know what I mean? My wife has brought me from just travel alone. My woke factor, has gone from, let's say 50%, that I'm a good, 85, 90%. Just in general, and just as a black man, you respect things more. You respect life. You respect women. You respect cultures. Your patience. It's a lot of things. Like you evolve as a person. Your maturity level it steps up when you're out there and you're traveling. You're meeting different people of different cultures and your self-worth. Like in the U.S., you're getting pulled over by cops and getting killed. You don't have that antsiness when you're getting pulled over the cops in other countries. People, they might just be pulling over because, hey, you were swerving. We need to understand how pulling over you driving while black. You know what I mean? So you have a different perspective, a different life, it's a mind changing experience. Is what I would say to people on all levels, because depending on where you're lacking, that's where you're going to be expanded. So it all depends. If you're an outgoing person. You might, if you're outgoing, talking to person, me, for example, I am out, I've been talking on here, I'm an outgoing, talking to person. Traveling with my wife, now I learned to shut up and let her talk. You know what I'm saying? I learned to go, you know what? I'm not going to step over until you learn to be more respectful. It's just little different things that you will learn in your travel experience, especially when you start to travel out further and broaden. If the furthest you've gone is Caribbean, okay, well, try Africa. You know what I mean? Or South America. You know what I mean? Go a little further down. Or, you know, maybe Europe. Maybe you've been all over Africa and you haven't, you know, all Europe or whatever, culture or whatever the case may be. Not to say that you have to, but what I will tell people to do, especially men of color, you definitely need to go to Africa. You should go to Africa. You should go.
Yes.
I've now, and it's funny, I thought it was 6. I've been to 6 countries in Africa. I actually just posted something today. Ironic. It was this my not my boss, but it was a director of our division. It was a funny experience, very funny moment. Today, it was this morning actually. Pretty much he saw features of me on, I don't know what the hell. He said he was Googling travel or something, and I came up, and he was like, "Hey, I saw something online that said you and your wife went to 100 countries." And I thought, oh, this must be fake news, ironically, right? They're Caucasian. Right. I'm like, fake news? I was like, oh, no, that was actually real. Me and my wife, you know, we've been to 100 countries. We actually hit 100 countries on my birthday in September. Oh, really? Oh, and he's like, where'd you go? I was like, I said we went to Mauritius. He's like, where's Mauritius? I was like, Mauritius is in Africa. This fool goes, oh, Africa. Oh, that explains it. You went to all 100 countries in Africa? Wait, what? So I said, I had this pause moment like, what the F? I was like, actually, there's only 54 countries in Africa. And unfortunately, I've only been to 7. But I do, now that you said, I do have plans because I'm going to hit in Kenya at the end of this month. So he was like, oh, wow, congratulations. Then he goes, wait, don't you work for me? How can you afford to travel? What the F? You work for me? I was like, I laughed. I said, well, you know what? I said, I guess it doesn't pay to be the boss because we getting number 101 this week. I said, you know, have a great week. And then walked off. His face was priceless. I posted about this on our Instagram. It's crazy because it's kind of going viral right now. Like it's like 4,000. It's like 200 comments on this thing, though. But it's things like that. And you know what's funny? Traveling made me respond differently. Because of now, what the F? You know what I mean? I was like, I laughed at it because the ignorance, and it's unfortunate, you know, a privileged situation. And I know so many people that have it, whether in the workforce, you know, whether it's a Caucasian person or not, or just people who think they're privileged, have this mindset of like of this concept, or the concept that travel is so expensive. Now, depending on what you're trying to do, yeah, that shit can be expensive. However, there's also ways to work with this system, and that's where we show people. Yeah, it's practical. Very practical. I've gone, you know, people go, oh, the Maldives is my dream spot. Been there. I've been to Fiji. I've been to Maldives. I've been all of those sought-off locations that people want to go. Like that's expensive, it's far out, or that Caucasians or Europeans. We jokingly say Europeans. we always say. My wife, we look at Europeans like, no, I know what the correct term is. I just like to call you Europeans because you try to rope you in with the rope-a-dope. Rope-a-dope is what they try to do, right? So
that shit's funny.
They will tell you like, oh, we've been to Fiji's or Maldives expensive. Like they make it seem like it's so expensive. No, Maldives is expensive, but we got there. We didn't pay for the flight or the hotel when we got there. The shit was still expensive when we were there, but we was also expensive because we were on a resort. Right. We were on a Conrad. You know what I mean? We could have stayed at Airbnb in Male. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on when, you know, if the goal is to get there, we could definitely get there. But we try to just, you know, debunk those little things and nuances that people think that, oh, I can't do this because it's too expensive or it's too far or whatever the case may be. We try to show you, look, it's possible. And that's why we've traveled to all different ways.
I appreciate you really sharing that because the seekers are going to find it, you know what I mean? And you guys being public out there and being bold and clever and finessing these these people who question you otherwise, I mean, that's respect, bro. And now I want to know how I can find out about more of this. So what you guys got coming up next for trips? Let's start there. And then tell us about this website and the projects you're about to launch off with.
Okay, so first, trips coming up. We're hitting Dominica in 2 days. We're in 2 days. Wednesday we're leaving. So that's number 101. We're hitting Kenya at the end of the month for Thanksgiving. We're actually going away for Thanksgiving. That's going to be 102. And then we're going back to Dubai. We love Dubai. We went to years. But this time we're doing a cruise out of Dubai. And we're going to hit the new countries for us is going to be Bahrain and Qatar.
So, like, when you said Dubai, I was like, oh, y'all going to Dubai to go take a rocket ship to Mars or some shit. Like, when you guys hitting Mars, at this point, you're going to be around the world.
People, I've had people say that all the time. I'm like, yeah, if you know, if it was affordable, I'd do it. I'd try it. So,
I mean, you got the points down, bro. Elon Musk seems like a reasonable guy to negotiate with.
you know what I mean? Like, look, I need these million hustle points I got. Let me just get that ride on the rocket. You might be like, you need about 10 million. I'm like, well, give me some time. I'll make it there. But we do. We have 2019 is actually booked for us too. So that will take us into 2019 because it's a New Year cruise. So we have just internal of 2019. We have we're looking to probably going to go back to Aruba. Just to my wife. There's a couple of things that we didn't really see in Aruba. Like we went there at the beginning. That was actually before we hit the Soul 0 to 100. That was in before 2013. We went to Aruba, and now it's like it was certain things. I was like, how the hell we didn't go to the natural pool in Aruba? So like, how did I miss that? So you know what I mean? So that was back then. People weren't really talking about it, but I, being infused into the travel life and seeing other people's pictures and photos, I see things now in countries that are like, damn, I've been to and I probably should have hit. So a few of those. So we're gonna hit Aruba, and then Namibia. One of the big ones is we're going to Namibia and Zambia in April, and actually, yeah, and in May we're taking my mom. We're flying to Barcelona, which we've been to Spain, but only been to Madrid. So we're going to see Barcelona, and we're actually going to see Andorra. That's going to be the new country. While we're in Barcelona, Andorra is a very small country. We're going to see Andorra. That's going to be new. We're going to take a cruise, take my mom. It goes to Italy and France. So she'll get to see Italy, 2 parts of Italy. And May, June, July, and my wife, we're going back to Greece. And probably July, we're going to hit Santorini and stay there a little longer. That's kind of what we have, like, that's paid for. Well, not paid for, but used by our points. Well, it's technically paid for. That's set up for next year. It's already booked. Like our hotel, flights, everything is booked. Those are the locations. I'm trying to throw St. Vincent and the Grenadines in there because it's the last island country that we haven't been to. So Dominica was one, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the second. So it's the last island that's a country that we haven't been to. Mm-hmm. That I kind of want to throw that in there just so I can have it all of them. But we'll see. My wife is always like, "You always trying to throw stuff in there." I don't know yet, but she's the one. She's down for the travel, but kind of when we have it planned out. I don't like to waste new federal holidays. She's like, right. I'm like, you don't have to worry about it. So, I keep it in the. What I do is, I don't just plan it because we're a team, but I have it ready to hit go. Like I'm looking at the flights, the prices.
It's queued up, it's prepped, it's primed.
Yeah, I got the points, how many points I'm gonna need for the hotel or the setup. So it's, anytime she wants to pull the trigger, she hits me with I think I'm gonna have dates. Oh, we can book it tomorrow. So I am ready for that, but this is just not booked yet. So that's what we have in terms of travel. As far as what's coming up, so unfortunately, a good thing and bad thing is the bad thing. I was actually going to try to launch our website today, but the good thing is, so that's the bad. The good thing is we will launch our site before we leave for Dominica, and the good thing is we have more merchandise for people. We have more different type of design, Road to 100 country shirts. So phase 1 is the website launches. We're going to have features. We featured couples. We have what we call Couples Corner, family fun features, family people who travel as families, solo travelers, and then our group getaways. So those are going to be features. And then we're going to have merchandise, Road to 100 countries, passport covers, T-shirts, keychains, luggage tags, so forth, to be available on the site. That's phase 1. Phase 2, Project 2, starts in January. We're going to start roll out our Tricks to Travel training videos, where we would teach people step by step how we travel pretty much the world for essentially free, and teach people that. That's phase 2. Phase 3 will be our Project 3, shall we say? We're going to start doing seminars, Road to 100 country expos. We're really going to try to go to different major cities in the U.S. and pretty much, debunk different situations. We're going to invite people like yourself, other travelers, to be on our panel. It's not going to be just about us. It's going to be, an expo. So other travel agents, things like you see those travel expos going out there now, but ours is going to be the Road to 100 country travel expo. We're going to not just, have travel agents. We're just booking it for you. We're going to literally show you how to do it. Nah, when you leave our expo, you were going to hit the ground running. You're not just going to be inspired. You're going to be inspired. You're going to execute. That's what our travel expos are going to be about. You go to these expos and I want to travel more. I want to get excited. And you have these little pamphlets and brochures, and then it goes to the wayside. Or, that's what you look at during lunchtime. When you leave our expo, you're going to walk away with like, oh, I already got my next trip. Where we're going. You might have one trip planned where you're going, and that's our goal. And then our last project, we have a couple things in the air, but our real goal right now is we want to get on a talk show. I want to get on Ellen. I'm trying to see it. I want to be on Ellen in 2019. Shiva and I, we want to be on Ellen 2019. So that's my goal. I'm envisioning it. I'm just going to try to make it happen. That's some of the projects we have coming up.
Wow, bro, that's real. That's expansive. And I mentioned you guys were already big players in the travel movement. I mean, your page is everywhere. And the fact that you want to bring this to real life to have such an impact on people's lives is so great. And shout out to Ellen, because we all know Ellen listens to the show. Don't play Ellen. You know the show. Make sure you get Ronnie on and Dr. Sheba. This is going to be lit. But yeah, man. So that website is road to100countries.com with 100 spelled out with numbers.
That's correct.
Right?
That's the only thing. The number, everything is spelled out. Road to 100countries.com. If you Google it now, it's we have a Facebook group. We have a like page. Please like our page. Everybody was joining the group, and I was like, wait, you forgot to like. The good thing about, when you like the page, all our features feed into the page too. So everybody we feature on it. So we have 2 Instagrams. Mine is Ronnie Dunston. That's where you'll find our travel. But Road to 100 Countries is the Instagram about everyone's travel, everyone else. That's where we feature other people. We created the page where originally it was going to be our personal page. I was like, nah, you know what? We need to make this for everybody else. So the hashtag and because you can follow hashtags now, the hashtag and the Instagram are Road to 100 Countries.
Awesome. So definitely when you guys are out here traveling, taking, posting up for your IG pics, make sure you tag them, add the hashtag to your posts. Ronnie, this has been a dope discussion, bro. We went in some depth. You dropped some real gems. I'm so grateful we had a chance to sit down and talk, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you reached out. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm down with Black Travel Gram, if I'm not mistaken, are the ones who telling me about you. And I was like, yeah, man, let's make it happen. So I'm glad we did. I wish the website was up now. I literally planned this. I chose this day because I was like, yeah, website's going to be up. But it's technically it's up if you go to it. So that's a good thing too. Like if people don't remember anything, just go to the website and all our social media links are there. So you can actually, I know. So you go there and it's like, oh, it's not up. Nope. But everything on our Facebook group, our Instagram page, and our personal Instagram, Road to 100, and our personal page, all there for you. And then the website will be up. It'll be up this week.
For sure. And by the time the edits come out on the show, we're going to make you look real good. But until then, bro, we're going to sign off, man. Thanks again for stopping by. And we'll wrap soon, man. Looking forward to keeping up with the adventures.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. And I look forward to hearing the cast, too. So.
Yeah, 100%, man. All right. Well, stay well.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. Peace.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Ronnie sharing some gems and real insights. And great news, their website, road to100countries.com, is now up. It's live. It's in full effect. They have some nice blog posts up there. You can subscribe to learn about their Tricks to Travel program that Ronnie mentioned on the show. It's super dope. The site's beautiful. And I think everything they're trying to do, especially for young travelers of color, being young travelers themselves, is super dope. So shout out to Ronnie. Shout out to Dr. Sheba. Y'all for real are goals and doing some dope stuff. So I hope just listening to the interview inspired some of you guys to see that travel is practical and maybe more feasible than you thought, especially when you have some people with experience and a system behind it. So let's talk about passports and what we at Point Noir want to do to empower men of color to get their passports. Essentially, we just want y'all to travel. So here's how we're going to do it. We have 2 options. You can either go the Twitter route or the Instagram route. And I'm going to tell you the Twitter route is easier. So for Twitter, all you have to do is follow myself at Jerry3rd. We don't have a show page up on Twitter yet. You need to create a tweet. Simple, 2011 type stuff. Create a tweet, dust off your account. Make sure you mention me at Jerry3rd. And I want to know what having a passport would mean to you. Mention me in there, like I said. Include the hashtag #PassPoint18. And that's it. you're done. Super easy, and you can see examples of that on our Instagram page where people have won based off their submissions. It's super dope. Instagram route, you need to follow our page at Point Noir Show. You need to create a post with us tagged in there that says what having a passport means to you. Now you can get extra creative here. You can just do a picture, you could do a little funny video or a skit. Like, we're with everything. The more creative, the better, and we love to see that energy. So tell us again what having a passport would mean to you. Include some sort of visual or video, and make sure you include the hashtag Passpoint18, because we want to make sure we see all your entries and give everybody a fair shot at having access to this 100% free passport. And if you want to hear about some people who've won our passport sponsorship program already, check out our Winner Circle #1, which was just released a couple weeks ago. And you can hear the stories of the 5 young men that we've sponsored and supported in their ambition to travel the world. So that's all I have for you this week. Hope you guys love this session. We have more great guests coming for you into this holiday season. So when you're sick of your friends, family, and loved one and just want to chill out with some eggnog and a comfy place on a couch, we got you covered. Stay tuned. As always, I'm Jerry the Third, aka Kimono Jack, and this is me signing off. Peace.